I hit the button. We're on the air.
Oh, awesome. Hi, everybody.
Are we really?
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Woo Get Serious number 101. Where's the format?
Omega says we don't have a format.
Oh, Lord, we're off to an auspicious start tonight, aren't we?
Oh, just this episode's starting exactly like number 1.
Awesome. It's a first for me.
It is in the description, where it always is now.
Description?
The channel description.
Click the channel and then you'll see it.
Alright, well,
Now
since
it's in the
I
chat
wrote the
too.
damn thing anyway,
Right, okay, got it.
and am the brains of this show, why don't I go ahead and kick us off with the news this week?
Alright, do that. And you can post the rest of them in there too.
Well, you know, last week, or the week before, or sometime, we talked about Stephanie McMahon's new promotion. It essentially puts her as the new corporate face of WWE, rather than the old Vince McMahon sort of carny, attitude-era brand of wrestling. See, it's all in an effort to appeal to mothers and children, and basically present WWE as more of a family brand now. George Barrios, who was also promoted, will oversee all of the new network dealings, and noted at last Tuesday's UBS Global Media Communications Conference that the current plan is to broadcast the network over the internet as opposed to cable, with a $10 to $15 a month price point, meaning they only need 1 million subscribers under this plan to break even, as opposed to 2 million with cable. We also plan to offer other pay-per-views on the network, not just WrestleMania, which will likely be offered as an incentive to anybody who signs up for 6 months. Now, although this would likely cannibalize the current cable pay-per-view market, the idea is, in the long run, it will work out for them. So I basically did the math on this, and average pay-per-view is $45 retail, WrestleMania being $60. So if you bought every pay-per-view in the year, 12 pay-per-views plus WrestleMania, you're going to spend about $600. Or, let's say it's $15 a month for the network, 6 months of the network cost $90. So the idea is, realistically, who buys every pay-per-view? Really, how many people buy more than one pay-per-view?
How many people buy any pay-per-views these days, honestly?
That one probably being WrestleMania, right? So the idea is they're hoping, now it's a gamble of course, but they're hoping, people say, well, for the cost of 2 pay-per-views, or Mania plus 30, they'll get 6 months of content, not just pay-per-views, but, Legends House and their vast library of wrestling material. And, it doesn't sound that bad. I think, as a consumer, I would probably do it.
Well, it sounds enticing, but on the other hand, I still haven't recovered from that dubstep commercial they played last year, so, no dice.
I'll pay $10-15 a month as long as it's on demand. I don't mind it. It's a really awesome, piece of wrestling, history that's going to be available to you, and at that price point is completely affordable. And I will probably be the one to actually pay for it.
Yeah, I would do $15 a month. Especially if there's on demand and I can watch old Attitude Era or what else do they own? Don't they own AWA as well?
Yes, I believe so.
If
WCW,
much older
ECW, Smoky Mountain, I think, a lot of the territories.
Do they own WCCW?
Yes.
Yeah, and that includes ECW and my personal favorite, since I'm up north, the Heart promotion, Stampede Wrestling.
Stampede. Yep, lots of Stampede as well, which it makes me very, very happy to see a bunch of the Hearts running around.
That would be fantastic to be able to watch that just whenever I wanted.
Actually, if this was all on demand, this would be revolutionary.
I don't think it will be.
It won't be necessarily revolutionary, but it will be a good revenue source for the WWE, and it'll be better than, gouging us every month for $60, just to watch a pay-per-view.
And going through the internet, this thing that we thought might bankrupt the whole company, going through the internet actually sounds like kind of a smart idea.
Alright, let's get through some other news. All talk of TNA has gone cold in the past couple of weeks, a TNA sale. However, the lead interest, a celebrity who is not Billy Corgan, was still saying that he was looking to buy complete ownership provided the price was fair. It's said that many TNA stars, save for Sting and Kurt Angle, will likely re-sign for less money as their contracts expire, feeling that they wouldn't give more money to AJ Styles. No one will get it. Styles apparently still in negotiations with TNA, but he issued a statement this week on his departure and has nearly a dozen indie dates set up already. Some are still under the impression that is Sting will be sticking around since he's booked match left that they could potentially do that would actually look good beyond, maybe Sting and Punk. That'd be interesting.
I believe that
it's along the lines of who do you want Sting to face in the WWE? Let's have a word quiz.
It'd be Cena, and Cena would go over.
Wait, did Netchester just die?
One can only hope.
Now, I just dropped my iPod. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
There are no women watching this show, let's be honest. Speaking of AJ Styles indie
Nobody's watching this show. It's a podcast.
Yeah, let's face it. Speaking of AJ Styles indie dates, he is going to be facing Chris Hero. I forget what promotion it is, but that match is going to be fucking fantastic.
Not that Angle and Sting are an asset, but it is kind of, they're trying to save money and everything, and people who seem kind of loyal. Sting I can understand, because he always kind of teases maybe leaving and going to WWE, and always kind of struggles with that decision. But Angle, they've been so loyal to Angle, and in turn Angle's been pretty loyal to them, so if they asked Angle to kind of scale it back, I kind of feel like maybe he would.
That wouldn't terribly be surprising to me. I just would like to see TNA, not go away. I mean, obviously we'd like it out of the hands of the creative department that they have going on right now. But just please, TNA, don't completely fold on us.
Well, speaking of talent, another 3-day talent tryout camp was held at the Performance Center last week. Participants we heard of that were included Dragon Gate star Ricochet, CCW star Pepper Parks, Lucha star Bestia 666, Galen Summers of DDT in Japan, who is 6'7", indie star Drake Younger, Resistance Pros, Robert Anthony, CWE's Mentello, and Tough Enough standout Martin Cassius from the latest iteration of the show. In pay-per-view news, Los Angeles might be the site of the 2015 Royal Rumble instead of SummerSlam, and Madison Square Garden might be getting SummerSlam this coming year. Apparently, Philadelphia was close to landing WrestleMania 32, but presented themselves in a offensive manner, as if they were doing WWE a favor rather than being appreciative of wanting the event. Although WWE officially denies the city put in a bid, and were simply just interested.
Well, to be fair, the WWE also officially denies that Al Snow ever existed, so... seriously, his name was.
I kind of was wondering what was going on there when we heard rumblings about Philly might be up. You can't help but to associate Philly with ECW. So, would you be? Exactly. So you can't help but thinking that if Vince wanted WrestleMania in Philadelphia, would that be a little stab or a turn of the knife at ECW people like Paul Heyman or anybody else?
No, it's way past that point. He doesn't have to take gigs at ECW anymore. He killed ECW, and then he brought it back to life and ran it as a C show, and then killed it again. So he doesn't have to dig at ECW anymore. I think it's probably likely that Philly was like, "Oh yeah, just come in. We'll give you a bunch of people, and we're gonna do all this, and we're doing it for you." And Vince was probably like, "Well, fuck that," because wherever WrestleMania goes, it makes that city a lot of money. So I could totally see that being the case.
You said something about Vince doesn't need to take digs at ECW anymore. He doesn't need to. This is Vince we're talking about. He will.
I think California just put in a better bid, quite frankly, but with the NFL team and everything. But let's talk about some of these indie stars for a second. Ricochet, he's quite the firecracker. I don't know how well he'd do in the WWE environment, but...
Probably as well as Evan Bourne did.
Well, is Ricochet addicted to fake weed?
I couldn't speak on that, but you might remember Martin from Tough Enough. If I remember right, he was actually the favorite to win until he got hurt, and then we ended up with kind of the scrub show we got at the end there.
No, what we ended up with was nothing.
Oh, I totally agree with that 100%. I only barely remember something from the guy who won. Some sort of video package they did about the house he grew up in and how that was in a drug neighborhood or something.
And then Vince and Austin beat him up and he was never seen again.
Let's see here. Moving along, the story making rounds since the weekend is that AJ Lee is in hot water after going on a tirade against NBC reporter Michelle Beadle backstage, a tribute to the troops in front of several important people. There are several different versions of the story, but apparently AJ confronted Beadle, the invited host of the event, over something she had said to her boyfriend CM Punk, either in character or seriously with cursing involved. Beadle took to Twitter reportedly WWE's request to clarify that she went through she thought the whole thing was a joke, and had called Punk her friend a name jokingly she once called a name jokingly when she saw him. However, she originally tweeted that she had lost another friend due to, quote, crazy girlfriend neutering, end quote.
This whole thing is retarded.
This whole thing is retarded. AJ acting like that is probably the most retarded thing of it all, considering that's completely unprofessional and not how you handle yourself. But I wouldn't be terribly surprised if that was it. If this really was just a nothing situation where AJ thought she had said one thing and Punk was like, "Dude," it was like, "AJ, cut it out."
So we're positive this is in the work then of some kind.
Nobody fucking knows who Michelle Beadle is, so a work pointless.
And Beadle confirmed it on, there's no reason to bring that kind of negative attention to yourself. That's why there's so many different versions going around. Apparently WWE's trying to really just lessen the, they don't want this blowing up on TMZ, they don't want this blowing up on Twitter, they want it to just kind of get squashed. And if they really did ask Beadle to downplay it, then, then that's kind of the way you do it. You have Beadle say, look, this is what happened, I thought it was a joke, it wasn't a big deal, blah, blah, blah. Which, maybe it wouldn't be if they wouldn't take things like this so seriously. Not that I condone AJ freaking out about it if that's really what happened.
Well, there were some people who reported that AJ never raised her voice, and I am no fan of AJ, let me clarify, but the fact that WWE is taking the Z-list celebrities side here, pretty insulting.
Yeah, they do that pretty much all the time. I mean, they don't they want to be an entertainment company first before a wrestling company, but... And, Punk kind of sent out an ominous tweet somewhere along this timeline, something about, it's hard to practice certain standards within a company when they refuse to do the same. Something like that. So maybe he's upset about the whole thing.
I can imagine. WWE's effort to secure new TV rights will be good for all of their shows in a package deal as opposed to individually like in the past. They're hoping to significantly increase the $139.5 million they earn each year in licensing fees and are even considering a live version of SmackDown to make it more attractive, finally. Bids can't take place until February 15th when NBCU accepts or rejects WWE's final offer.
So in other words, instead of, the different shows like SmackDown and Main Event and such, negotiating with individual channels, they let everything kind of expire at the same time this time. So that now they can say, if you want the entire WWE universe, you can have it for the right price. And that might mean Raw off of USA, it might even mean Total Divas off of the E! Network.
And we have to decide whether that'd be a good or a bad thing.
Like any other network would ever pick up Total Divas.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lifetime would love to have Total Divas. I mean, or maybe even,
Oxygen?
What's the station that isn't E? Oxygen, yeah! Oxygen would be
Oxygen, yeah.
Yeah, but would they also accept the rest of WWE's programming? Because I don't believe they would.
It's kind of a matter of...
It's not all or nothing, though, because the shows are... you can either pick them all up as a package, if you're a channel, which you're probably not. You're probably a human being. What was I? Oh, yeah, a channel could pick up all the shows, or they could say, we'll take this block here. We'll take SmackDown, Raw, and Superstars. It's not all or nothing. They could still, bid for the shows individually, but there's also the option to just pick everything up or pick up chunks.
It's also a matter of a network of networks like NBC. It's not like we have Raw on USA, we have SmackDown on Sci-Fi. That's all under the NBC banner.
NBC Universal, yeah.
See, the only other brand that would actually pick that up would be Viacom, and Viacom is, Comedy Central and Nickelodeon, and I believe CBS? Yes? Maybe no?
I think so.
Okay, well, so think of it this way. Saturday Night Main Event on CBS, Monday Night Raw back on TNT.
Oh, hello.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh,
That would never happen, because TNT is about drama shows that nobody watches.
And basketball.
well, what's Raw if not a drama show that nobody
Exactly.
watches?
TNT is USA's biggest competitor, and if Raw were to switch from USA to TNT, I mean, come on.
My only thing is, I'm afraid, if anybody's, this is all assuming that WWE is really worth it, and, the ratings haven't been going up, let's put it that way.
Thanks, Orton.
My worry is that, it wouldn't be a matter of USA versus TNT or Viacom versus NBC Universal. It would be a matter of, some, digital cable block of channels like, they're not around anymore, but just off the top of my head, like if G4 and, channels like that, some block like that, bid them out, and then that would be where you would watch.
That would suck.
I mean, I'm not a cable expert,
That-
but you know.
That would be the most awful thing that could possibly happen.
If they're willing to pay them the money, WWE will probably sell it. Is all I'm saying. That's the point.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would sell and put their show on a station that nobody watches, just for the fact.
But if they got four
or
times
that not
their
everybody
current
gets.
fee
Well,
or whatever, then yeah, of course they would.
no, because they
Because it
still
wasn't
have to
better.
worry about. They still have to worry about getting people to see the show, to see, what new T-shirts are out, or who's got a new Brawlin' Buddy. How do you download the WWE app? I still don't know.
Well,
How
no,
do
it's a
you
matter of-
download WWE
It's a
app?
matter of financials because if you're getting paid, just $600 million a year on TV rights, then maybe how many T-shirts you sell, maybe that won't matter as much. That's all I'm theorizing.
I think they should release an app that shows you how to download the WWE app.
Oh my God, we've got another Smart Henry running around.
All right. Well, Gunner said, or Net Jester rather, says it's time. So, 15-minute time limit.
15-minute time limit. We're going to hold on a second. 15-minute time limit. This week for the 15-minute time limit, we are going to be talking about the event that I actually watched this week, which was TLC. TLC, not as extreme, the least extreme TLC of all time.
Rest in peace, chairs match, 2009 to 2010. You made no sense.
So we're going to start off with the kickoff match, which is Fandango versus defeating Dolph Ziggler.
And then Ziggler won the rematch the next night.
It was kind of a surprise at the time, but it doesn't really matter terribly.
Ziggler in the doghouse? Question mark?
No, probably
Probably.
not. Well, I say probably not because here's the thing. The environment that WWE has built up. Back in the day, a match like this really would not matter. Who won it, whatever. But WWE has built up such an environment where, if a face loses such even a lousy kickoff match like this, clean or what have you, then there are all these speculations about, is he in trouble, is he this and that? I don't know. I don't really buy it that much. I don't think Ziggler's being treated any differently than he has been in the past, 6 months. Let me put it that way. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
which is the same reason why main event would be theoretically such a big deal. But, the first match of the night on the actual show was Punk defeating the Shield in the handicap match due to Roman Reigns' spirit kind of clipping his eye on the announce table and then being blinded and, of course, spearing his teammate.
He was swollen up. That was terrible.
Yeah, we got a close-up on that the next night on Raw, and God, that Shiner looked bad.
TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs, featuring 2 3-on-1 handicap matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they went exactly as expected. Might I add.
And they were still better. They were still better than the main event.
Did you all that Punk was going to win over the Shield? Because I didn't have that.
Well, yeah, because obviously Punk was going into this. They're teasing a Shield split right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if at the Royal Rumble it was the Shield and the Wyatts standing in the ring, and the Shield eliminates the Wyatts, and then Roman Reigns eliminates the other two.
Oh God,
Dean
please,
Ambrose eliminates the other
WWE,
two.
we need factional warfare. Have the Wyatts go after the Shield, please.
We need the Wyatts and Shield to feud before they break up the Shield. I mean, come on, everybody wants to see that. There's money in that.
Oh, absolutely. All right.
Next match.
The next match was Divas champion AJ Lee retaining her title over Michelle Beadle, Italia.
Oh, ouch!
No one is surprised that Natty lost because
Actually, I was a little surprised by that. I actually thought Natalia would win because, for some reason, WWE has this thing about keeping Maurice's longest reigning Divas champion thing intact, so I figured they were going to have AJ drop the title at this point, but I guess not.
not to Natty. They have a total hate-on for her, and I'm not sure why. But any chance they get to, like, poop on her, they take it.
2 words. Fart gimmick.
People still have not gotten over that. That lasted a month.
I will
over
never
a
get
year
over
ago.
that.
Like, people still only associate her with that, not any of the other shit. That's a burial.
No, well, we associated that with the WWE being mean to Natty. It's not anything Natty did.
I see people on Twitter all the time just up random fart shit whenever somebody says Natalia's name, but then again, I'm probably being followed by a bunch of idiots, so what do you expect?
Twitter.
Love you guys.
You know what your problem is, Desperado? You're not on tout. You need to tout. That's
Because if you were on tout, you would have gotten on WWE TV.
Oh yeah, that's my problem. I need to get on tout. That will solve everything.
Alright, so next up here we have Big E defeating Damien Sandow to retain the Intercontinental Championship, which is, I called that one. I figured that would happen. Not disappointed at all. As much as I love Sandow, he's not enough. I need 5.
Both of those competitors, by the way, are my 2 favorite breakout stars of the year. Big E Langston is my biggest surprise. I thought that he'd be a meathead, but his personality and and the things that I've seen outside of the ring, I love Big E Langston. I need 5. That guy, push him to the moon, man. Push him to the moon.
Big E is awesome. Sandow is awesome. The match was a throwaway match, but both guys are good, so they did good.
Yeah, Big E is going to be difficult to actually find a challenger to get the belt off of him once they want to get the belt off of him. And, of course, your intellectual savior is going to be a force to reckon with, except maybe come this Monday when he's put in the role of Bad Santa. Oh, boy.
Or Santa Claus, if you prefer.
No, there's only one Santa, and that's the killer robot from Futurama.
I thought Sandow was supposed to be Krampus.
I don't even want to know.
Krampus is the I think it's like Norwegian or something, or like Scandinavian version of Santa Claus that goes around and eats children.
That is true.
Some bitch.
Next match that came after
Omega,
that was...
Omega, do you have anything to say about the IC title match?
I don't really have much to say about any of these matches, quite frankly, because they were, not that they were bad, but, you know, it felt like a pretty typical episode of Raw when you factor in, you know, a lot of these matches were made at the last minute, particularly the next one, which was the Tag Team 4-Way, which, isn't it funny how they always seem to announce these tag matches at the very last minute, and they end up being one of the big highlights of the night.
I will say that ELC was a phenomenal episode of WWF Jacked.
God, who remembers that?
Me and no one else. But it was Cody Rhodes and Goldust Tag Team Champions going up against three other teams, the Big Show and Rey Mysterio, the Real Americans, Antonio Cesaro and Zack Swagger, and Ryback and Curtis Axel.
No, it was a good episode of Thunder. What are you talking about?
Thunder! We're all the times you on Nitro.
I thought we were watching Heat.
All right, let's going.
Well, we had two matches that. Now this was about the point where it's 9:45 Eastern, so technically they have half a show left, and two scheduled matches left. So they pad the card with R-Truth beating Brodus Clay, which I guess progresses that storyline a little bit.
R-Truth versus Brodus Clay on pay-per-view. Like I said, phenomenal episode of WWF Jacked.
And then, we have Kofi Kingston beating The Miz again.
But that was a great turn, I tell you, from Brodus. And then him coming out the next night like nothing happened.
And then turning again.
Yeah. What the fuck was up with that no DQ match? I'm pretty sure that I did not see a single chair or the stairs or a ladder, a table,
I didn't even know it was.
the announce table, anything.
Me too.
Well, what's the fucking point of having a no DQ match if they're not going to do anything that, would normally get them DQ'd? Like, that's the point of a no disqualification match, is that you do shit to hurt your opponent that would normally get you disqualified so that you could win. They did none of that shit. It was just a regular friggin' match. But let's skip that because no one cares about the Miz versus Kofi Kingston, because they would have to care about Miz or Kofi Kingston in order to do so. Wyatt family defeated Daniel Bryan.
Match of the night, even when it's a 3-on-1 handicap, Daniel Bryan still fucking manages to have the best match of the night somehow.
Well, I called this. I didn't predict on every match, but the ones that I did predict, 4 of them, I was 3 correct. This was one of the 3 I got correct. The one I got wrong was the last one, but we'll get to that. What do you guys think of this match? I thought it was pretty good.
Bray Wyatt is an amazing character, and I think he's going to go really far if they will book him right, which of course they won't, but I will try and remain optimistic.
I'm looking forward to actually seeing where this goes. I would like to see some sort of larger role played by the Wyatts in some sort of main event posture. I mean, this is something like that, but I'd like to see this go a little further and a little bigger, and maybe in a cage at some point or another. I would like to see the Shield versus the Wyatts in a cage. Maybe for the April pay-per-view or something.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
The problem is they're blurring the lines again, but not in a very smart way. Because here you have Daniel Bryan being defeated, which he pretty much had to be after, quote-unquote, mini miracle. But then he has a match with the WWE Champion the next night on Raw, and Wyatt mentions his name in a promo, but, they don't get involved in said match or anything. And it really makes you wonder what they're really doing with that whole thing. And really, they don't know. That's the answer.
Not to mention, as far as the Wyatts are concerned, we now have information of Bray Wyatt's go-to pay-per-view only move, the crab walk.
Oh, come on, that shit's awesome.
I'm not saying it's not awesome, it's just freaky.
Exactly, that's the point.
Love it. Main event, I think a lot of people were surprised by this result. Randy Orton defeated John Cena in the TLC match to become the Unified Champion clean.
I wasn't that surprised, and I'll tell you why. Because the situation, even though it would be par for the course for WWE, the situation was so built up that Orton had to win because, everybody was against him. The authorities against him, Cena, Cena. So, in terms of long-term booking, particularly for WrestleMania, you really needed a heel champion. Because if it was Cena, then, we're talking it's only one title now, so what, is a heel going to win the Rumble and face it? Is one Elimination Chamber match, one Rumble shot, one TLC, or Money in the Bank down the line.
Now it's going to be one. And that's going to be really interesting.
Oh, that's very cool. I hadn't actually considered that.
Yeah, this brings a whole bunch of other. I mean, they mentioned it on Raw last night. Basically the WWE champion now, or in the pay-per-view, one of the two, the WWE champion now only has one person to worry about, and which is the number one contender, and then they have everybody else because, well, they have the target on their back. This is awesome. I'd just like to say, because a unified champion is what I preferred. I don't give this 5 years, to be honest with you. I don't see this lasting for a very long time. I see them splitting up the belts again. I see them not getting rid of either belt off of the person. And what I'm saying is that there won't be a unification, if you will. Because if there was going to be unification, there would have been one last night. And the WWE belt is too new for there to be a unification.
And everybody loves the big old belt anyway, so...
Yeah, so the surprise for me wasn't that Orton won. It was the fact that he did win basically clean. The handcuff thing and the rope. There were no authority shenanigans or anything like that. That surprised me. Although I still think they're kind of messing this thing up by not having the authority really embrace Orton. And they're still kind of, pushing him around a little bit.
Well, this puts
on the outside, yeah.
This puts a much-needed chink in Super Cena's armor. This guy is not Superman. He is human, and he can be beat, which I think we've somehow forgotten with all of his wins.
In his worst year of his
Pillars of fire! Reach for the night! Into the sky! Empty is black! Blood is still. No turning back! No turning back! He walks out like the hand of God, but God can't see through the fog of the night. And he steps through the fog so slow and sure, no emotion in his eyes, no wrong or right. His father is behind him with the urn in his hands, and he raises that urn high above his head. And the Father King cries with his voice on high, for in his hands is the power of the Lord of the dead. A slave to the soil where the body was laid. A slave to the soil where the body was laid. A slave to the soil where the body was laid. And when your body's laid down, you will not be afraid. He ascends the steps and he raises his arms, and the darkness parts to reveal the form. Embraced by black, so great and tall, his eyes bright white like a blinding storm. And he removes his crown and he tears it down. For his heart is made of ice and his hand of stone. When his spirit is reaped, sonny, don't you weep, for in his garden of souls you are never alone. A slave to the soil where the body was laid. A slave to the soil where the body was laid. A slave to the soil where the
we are back, and we will be right back with part 2 of Woo Get Serious, number 101. And that means...
serious for a minute.
That's right. We will be serious.
Woo! Spring break!
And we will be back with the kayfabe issues.